Welcome back to the news at 10. The president has appointed Ambassador Enikonlaoye Audurafiu Olushola as a permanent secretary in the Federal Civil Service. Until his appointment, Ambassador Enikonlaoye was a charge d'affaires at the Nigerian High Commission in India. In addition, President Muhammadu Buhari has redeployed 8 federal permanent secretaries. Those affected are Dr. Habiba Lawal, who moves from Science and Technology to the Ecological Funds Office. Abbas Muhammad, who was formerly at the Ecological Funds Office, will now serve at the Ministry of Solid Minerals, while Estefanos Fuktur from the Ministry of Solid Minerals has been redeployed to the Police Service Commission. The full list of other redeployed federal permanent secretaries can be found on our website, www.channelstv.com. The United States Acting Deputy Chief of Mission, Mr. Alan Tusinon, has asked the federal government to interact with ethical hackers to counter cybercrime in the country. Speaking to Channels Television at the U.S. Embassy's cybersecurity workshop in Abuja, Mr. Tusinon said the passage of the Cybercrime Act in 2015 is a major step, but more should be done by the government.
The fact that you passed the Cybercrime Act of 2015 was a major first step, but there's more work to do because it gets down to police, citizens, everyone making a contribution as a good citizen. And Nigeria, just like the United States, does have ethical hackers. These are people who have skills, who understand how the internet works, who understand how computers work, and who know what it takes to get in or to break into a system. And so companies, for example, or the government, they can employ ethical hackers to say, look, is it possible to break in our system? And if an ethical hacker can do that, they can advise, say, yeah, we were able to break in very easily. We just did this, this, and that. What you need to do is build this kind of firewall or use this kind of software or be more responsible over here. So I think it's that kind of interaction between professional ethical hackers who can advise governments on what their vulnerabilities are and what they can do to protect themselves.
Let's turn to sports news now. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Yes, indeed, our countdown to the Olympics continues, and the Nigeria Olympic men's football team will launch the country's newly designed jerseys by kit sponsors Nike, beginning with the opening match against Japan on Friday. This new design is also what the Super Eagles will wear for the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, beginning with the trip to Zambia on October the 3rd. The Nigeria Football Federation and Nike entered into an agreement in 2015 after Adidas pulled out as the country's kit sponsors. The International Olympic Committee IOC President Thomas Bach says the way sport deals with drug cheats needs fundamental reform. More than 100 Russian athletes have been banned from this summer's games in the wake of a World Anti-Doping Agency report into state-sponsored doping. In the wake of its McLaren report into doping in Russia, WADA had recommended all the country's competitors be excluded from Rio 2016. But then the IOC devolved responsibility to the individual sports federations. Switzerland's world number 4 Stanislas Wawrinka has withdrawn from this year's Olympics because of a back injury. Wawrinka aggravated the injury in the Rogers Cup in Canada, meaning 5 of the men's top 10 players will not participate in Rio. Roger Federer, Thomas Berdych, Milos Raonic and Dominic Thiem have also withdrawn from the Games. Swimming's world governing body FINA has allowed Russian swimmers Vladimir Morozov and Nikita Lobintsev to compete at the Rio Olympics. The two swimmers had launched an appeal against the ruling banning them from the Rio Olympics, even though they have never failed a doping test. Lobintsev and US-based Morozov were part of Russia's bronze medal winning 4x100 meters freestyle team at the London 2012 Games. And that's a wrap on sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Away from sports news, U.S. President Barack Obama has been given his opinion on the Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, recently saying he's unfit to be president. Mr. Obama said he had had policy differences with previous Republican presidents and candidates, but added that he had never thought they could not function as president.
This is not just my opinion. I think what's been interesting is the repeated denunciations of his statements by leading Republicans, including the Speaker of the House and the Senate Majority Leader and prominent Republicans like John McCain. And the question I think that they have to ask themselves is, if you are repeatedly having to say in very strong terms that what he has said is unacceptable, why are you still endorsing him?
And the main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to tackle the Niger Delta crisis to guarantee regular supply of gas for the country and its West African neighbors. The president was speaking when he received his Beninois counterpart, Patrice Talon, at the State House in Abuja. It was indeed a busy day for the president, as he also played host to his Togolese counterpart, for Nasimbe, at the Villa. Mr. Nasimbe had earlier visited the Dangote refinery in Lagos. That's News at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.